Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
We have some green price action today, guys, and what I noticed yesterday and what I was posting on Twitter and Telegram yesterday is that we have the total capitalization of altcoins with some trends. First is that we have the descending channel of this capitalization, and we are testing the resistance of the resistance line of this channel. And the second thing is that we have this blue triangle, which is basically matching the apex, matching the channel. And so very likely until January 2nd, and in my case today is already January 2nd, we will see the result of this end of this intersection. And if it will be broken upwards, I wrote yesterday, then it will look much more bullish. So we will test then again this $60.8 billion resistance, which I would look now as the next step, bullish step, and also this black resistance line on the smaller wedge of the total capitalization. But if it will not break, as I said yesterday, then we will look how it will play with lower lows, or well, previous lows, whether it will be lower one or still continue to be like in the sideways or even higher than this previous low. It would depend, so some uncertainty will remain. But you see, it was broken upwards and not so bad at all. A lot of the altcoins are in positive area. Also, it's still playing with these moving averages. So you see on hourly 50 hours moving average, it's just bounced off precisely from this point. So probably some algorithmic trading, some bots are doing this. But still, technically we are still in the same sideways trading action channel, and although we broke this triangle with it, we need to confirm it to break it here again and test more and more upwards to see whether there is a bullish trend, or it's still an accumulation point. Considering the Tether thing, you remember yesterday we saw it broken downwards. Well, not really broken, but at least this $1 mark was passed, and now we had it above $1 again. So not so bad thing. The inverse head and shoulders pattern though seem to be more and more invalid as soon as we are trading sideways. Of course we can play out, but it seemed to me that it's pretty ugly now, and I don't really look at this. Just to say to you that it didn't seem to be too reasonable, so it probably isn't. However, still it looks pretty bullish in general. I mean, the price of Bitcoin and how it behaves right now. So we're still holding the general trend, the general supports, and the main thing, which I already told, the total capitalization seems to be really nice. And returning to the Tether thing, as you as you remember, the total supply of Tether was rising from the 2017. Well, it was rising for a while, but if you look at the 17th year, it was rising quite a lot until January 2018, and well, actually probably February, right? Just beginning of February. And just exactly at this point we had the end of bull market, basically when we had the drop of Bitcoin to the lowest low at that period of time, like not well after the all-time high 2000k, we had 6k, a little bit below that. And you see the supply, the capitalization of the Tether coin was increased for all the 2017 a lot, and then we started to control the supplies, control the capitalization, and at the same time the price of Tether became pretty much stable comparing to the previous increase, drops and rise of the price. So at this point we had the bear market for Bitcoin, and then just recently from September we had the huge drop of the capitalization of the at the same time of the supply, the market cap of the Tether. So whether it was burning or taking out the coins from the by Bitfinex, we are not 100% sure, but still from this point we had the drop of the price of Bitcoin. Well, some actually fluctuation, because first it was huge increase because of the Tether FUD, and then eventually we broke below 6k. However, after the bottom, after like 3,200, well, not exactly bottom, but the low which we had so far, we saw the change of the trend of this Tether thing, and you see we increase the capitalization of Tether, and also not in this way of like not this step-like behavior, but quite gradual. And finally we have more controlled price of Tether above $1. So the trend looks like we are returning to the bullish area again. So we'll see. However, it seems pretty obvious that the correlation is here. So for this thing, I'm more and more confident. I look at this like an indicator right now. And actually, if we look at the altcoins, they all are pretty much at the level when it is they are about to be broken. So they test the very strong, very important levels, resistance levels, or actually resistance lines. Yes, I'm very sorry, resistance levels around here. For example, for Ether, we are tested it several times before. So now if we will break it, then the more and more let's say the space after that will be clear, and we can go above that much higher. So the same for XRP, we had this resistance line, the resistance level actually. So the Cardano, so all of them, all huge altcoins are about to go to the area where we will be much like it will be easier for them to grow. So now they are struggling with very strong resistance. And speaking about the altcoins, yesterday again I was posting some tweet about Ether. This is Ether chart, daily chart, and you see in 2017, before the drop of Bitcoin, we had a huge volume of Ether. Of course, it was ICOs and everything, but still we had huge volume of Ether, and it basically increased from 0. What it was. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 2018, right? So it was 0.023 or something like that, and we rose to 0.12 Bitcoin per Ether. So it is very similar to what we have now in terms of the volume and the level of Ether price. It tried to push it higher before, but because of the general market, because of Bitcoin was continuing to drop, we didn't have this rise of Ether yet. So if Bitcoin will rise again finally, then probably the Ether may repeat the same thing. And I don't know, of course, it's not a financial advice, guys, whatever, but just what I did and what I'm considering is I would like to, and I did already, I will just move my take profits orders higher. I probably will hodl Ether until I will see some better price where I can take my profits. Don't know, just my opinion. And finally, nice chart which I was going to share with you guys is this one. History doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but you know, it looks pretty. This is a chart of Bitcoin which we have now, and this is the chart which we have for the bottom of Bitcoin in 2015. So it just it looks pretty similar, although the time scale is different, but still, you know, even the moving averages are very close to what we have now. So I don't know. Of course, it actually had the test of the same bottom later, but we can make it again this time again. But I don't know. You see, it looks pretty, and it gives me more bullish more bullish like attitude. I don't know. Anyway, maybe you will find it interesting, and I hope that it would be for you. So that is it for today, probably, guys. I hope that you will come here again tomorrow, the new update, and thank you for being with me today. Safe trading. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.